So we're back again. I thought it was time to do another video. Um, we are on week 5 at the moment, day 4 of week 5. In fact, it's Thursday. You'll probably see in the background, I've got the cricket on. England versus Australia. So anyone who's not from the UK, or more so anyone who's not from England, I am a bit of a cricket fan, and the biggest cricket tournament, as far as we're concerned, is the Ashes, where we take on the Australians roughly every couple of years. They currently hold the Ashes. They won it last time it was played, which was in Australia, and this time it's in the UK. So they haven't won it in the UK since 2001. So hopefully that's a good omen. And they've lost an early wicket. So I've kind of got that on in the background. If I see a wicket go, I'll probably go ooh and celebrate. But anyway, apologies if I pick my teeth. That's just reminded me actually. Oh, medication. What one haven't I had? I haven't had my metformin, which means I've got to now try and take my metformin with no water, which isn't particularly pleasant. Sorry about this. Not how I planned the video on going. Second one normally makes me gag, so trying to make sure the first one's gone. Right, lovely, thank you. Sorry about that. So yeah, we're on week 5. Just a little recap. When I started this, as I say, just under 5 weeks ago, I weighed in after the first week and had put 7 pounds on. Obviously, that wasn't the plan. Not one of, the big reason for going on a low carb or keto diet was actually to manage my blood sugars, being a type 2 diabetic. I always said, and will always say, losing weight would be a bonus. Obviously, I don't want to put 7 pounds on a week because a couple of months of doing the keto diet at that rate, and I'll be about 24 stone, and we don't want to end up there. But it was very important for me to bring down my blood sugars. Before I went on the low carb diet, I would normally wake up in the morning, and when I did bother to take my blood sugars, they would be around 14. Now, a normal person's is normally between 5 and 7, and certainly for a fasting result, that's where a diabetic should be aiming to be. But mine would be 14, over double a normal person's. By the time I'd then eaten, inevitably, foods that included loads of carbs, my blood sugars would go up to high teens, early 20s. And on some days, particularly bad days, my blood sugars could even reach the high 20s. Since I've been on my low carb diet, I don't like using the diet word, and certainly anyone who's doing keto should know that it doesn't really feel like a diet with the foods you can eat. I'll come to that in a bit. But yeah, since I've been on my low carb regime, my blood sugars in the morning are normally between 5 and 7, normal person. And even after I've eaten, I've never been higher than 9, and more often than not, it's sort of in the 6 to 7 bracket. So I am absolutely chuffed with the results. I could not be happier with the results of the first and most important, in my opinion, goal, which was managing my blood sugars. But as I say, after that first week, seeing £7 extra in weight going on, I realised that I needed to tweak some things. I think I made a mistake that a lot of people make when they see that your dietary plate, if you like, should be made up of 80% fats, in thinking that I pretty much could eat anything fat-wise, and probably went OTT. Now, I would say I've tweaked that, but I wouldn't say I've potentially tweaked it enough or got it exactly right yet. I am struggling to understand what makes up the plate, the percentage of protein against the percentage of fat. I think I might be eating too much protein, and I'm not sure. I've read mixed opinions on too much protein in the diet and whether that can affect going into ketosis. And certainly my ketone levels are fairly low. I'm certainly not in the optimal range of 1.5 to 3. More often than not, my ketone readings are about 0.5, 0.6, around that range. So I believe I'm in ketosis, just, but maybe not enough to see the weight loss that I need. And I've got a few ideas on what to do with that. But anyway, coming up to the end of week 5, and what I decided after that first week and seeing £7 extra, even though I just want to say it was £7 extra on the weight, but I lost 5.8% of body fat. So I took that as a positive. So what I decided is that I wasn't going to weigh in for 4 weeks. So I'm due to weigh in next week. It won't be Monday because I've got a manic Monday, and I doubt I'll be able to get to the place that I used to weigh. And I always try and use the same place. And so it's going to be Tuesday that I'm going to weigh in, and it will be interesting. So the question is, have I put more weight on? My gut feeling is no, no pun intended, but my gut feeling is no. Have I managed to claw back the £7 that I put on in week 1? That would be nice. I'd be happy with that if I was back down to my starting weight, which was 18.3, by the way. When I started, I was 18 stone 3, and obviously after week 1 I've gone up to 18.10. Or have I clawed back the £7 and lost some? I'd be absolutely made up, because that would be a great bonus. And you know, there has been a lot of hard work gone in. Again, I'm not saying I've got it perfect yet. I'm like an infant when it comes to the keto diet. I'm still learning. I'm trying to absorb as much information as I can. I watch a lot of stuff online. I'm a big fan, and I'll probably say his name wrong, but I'm a big fan of Thomas Delore. I constantly tag him into stuff in the hope that I'll have a surreal moment and he'll reply to me, which he hasn't done as of yet. But that's cool. That's cool. Busy guy. If I could afford to pay him, I would. I'd even fly him over to the UK and have him train me for a couple of months. But that'd probably cost me a couple of mil. But yeah, so I try and research where I can. I would love more input from other people. On Instagram, I literally do post almost everything. I post my blood sugar results, which also include ketones. I post my food, my exercise, and I get a lot of likes, and that's great. But it would be great if people said to me, "Oh, by the way, you know, just a comment, you know, maybe you're loading up a bit on the protein, maybe cut down and add this or take that away." And just, you know, it would be great to know what people think. I do tag a lot of relevant search words for ketone and low carb. I also, on some of the posts where relevant, tag in diabetes and diabetic, and because that's sort of like the two communities I'm really aiming my stuff out. These videos, the posts I make. And if anyone's got any questions for me, I'm not saying I'll know the answer, but by all means feel free to message me or reply in one of my posts, and I will try and answer as best as I can. So I haven't really got too many good news bits. As I say, blood sugars, massive plus. Gold star. That's what it's all about. Is my next HbC1 test is around the 30th of September. That will be 13 weeks of me being on the keto diet. I am determined that my result will come back at 6.5 or less. Oh, have we just got another wicket? Yeah, just got another wicket. Woo! Okay, enough of the celebration. So, from the blood sugar perspective, brilliant. Blood pressure, still a little bit high. They did want me to increase one of the doses on one of my medications, which I've not done yet. And I'm deliberately holding on in the hope that I can get it down naturally without doing one of my big gripes, you probably heard me moan about it in the past, is it appears that doctors, and as I say, I love our health service in the UK, but I do feel that they chuck medication at you. If something's not working, well, we'll just give him more, give him another tablet, add another medication. And what I'm trying to do through this low carb diet, this keto diet, is to manage my blood sugar. So that's, as I said, a massive big tick. But also to bring my medication down. And that, again, is something I've been able to do massively. And again, I'll come to in a minute. I'm not going to forget about my bits that I'm going through with the blood pressure and everything. But yeah, so I haven't put my blood pressure medication up. I'm hanging on to see if it comes down over the 13 weeks, this first period I'm doing. I took them Monday just gone. They were down very, very slightly, but I mean, we're talking just a couple of points. I'm due again to take it early part of next week, probably the same day I do my weight, and I'm hoping to see a slight drop again, at least a slight drop. And if that continues, then I won't have to up the dosage of medication. Obviously, if it doesn't, then I might have to consider doing that. Obviously, a lot of people do have a little bit of negativity about the high fat content in a keto diet, and obviously that can put some stress on the heart. I think there's pros and cons. I think for all of the potential negatives, I think the pros are a lot better. For me, having my blood sugars up in the high 20s or even the low 20s on a health damaging scenario is far worse than me on the keto diet. So medication, so blood pressure, as I say, I want it lower, and that's sort of like a working process. Do I have to up my medication? Maybe, but we're going to try and do it the natural way first. So on the good news front, as I say, the blood sugar is massively brilliant. Couldn't ask for anything better. On the blood pressure side, still needs some work, and on the weight side, as I say, we'll know more early part of next week. So reducing the medication, going back to that being one of the goals of things that I'm looking to do whilst on this low carb keto diet. So I want to get this in the right order. I want to make sure I don't forget anything. So I'm going to do a little warning first. One of the dangers, I think, with the keto diet, and something where you need to be really careful, is this is what I found anyway for me. I'm not saying it would be the same for everyone. Everyone's different. But because I think the secret to me managing my blood sugars was the low carbs, I think for a long time when I wasn't managing it, they were throwing more and more medication at me, different medications, new medications, additional medications, up in the dosage of those medications. And I pretty much was on the maximum metformin, the maximum glycoside, and I was on 2 forms of insulin, which I still am, which was a quick release insulin called Humulin and a slow release insulin called Lantus, not Atlantis. But because I managed to go on the low carb, the keto, and that immediately brought my blood sugars down, and of course I'm still taking all of them, maximum metformin, maximum glycoside, the 2 forms of insulin. I did encounter hypos where my blood sugars got too low. The lowest so far has been 3.1, and I always feel rubbish when I have hypos, even though I've got to say the time I had 3.1, the lowest, I didn't have no side effects, which I kind of guess is worrying, because obviously those sort of like warning signs, those little side effects of a hypo, is what lets you know you're having a hypo and allows you to manage them and do something about it. The time I went down to 3.1, I actually felt totally fine. It did result in me staying up until about 3-4 o'clock in the morning, kept taking my blood sugars, kept taking dextrose tablets, and in the end a couple of chunks of chocolate, and finally got my blood sugars up to about 4.8, where I felt comfortable enough to go to bed. But yeah, but a side effect of that is being able then to slowly, not to do it straight overnight or every other day, but every week I've managed to adjust my medication, bringing it down. Now again, maybe I should be doing that with medical supervision. My mum does have a little moan about the fact that I'm doing it off my own back. My doctor, who I see, a diabetic specialist, did say to me not to be in a hurry to adjust my medication. But it's my belief that I just don't need it. And I think the proof in the pudding there is my blood sugars have not spiked as a side effect of lowering those medications. And to be honest, within 5 weeks, I have managed to reduce my medication massively. So let me give you an example of how much. My Humulin, which is the slow release, the fast release, I take twice a day. Now you're supposed to have a 10-hour gap in between your dose. With the Humulin, I would take 24 units around the morning time, brunch time, and then 24 units at night. I'm currently taking both doses at 15. So I've reduced my Humulin intake by over 33%. I've took it down from 24 to 15. It is my goal to get it down within the 13 weeks to 10. So over the next few weeks, I'm only taking it down by a unit at a time. And sometimes that 1 unit drop will be for a 2-week period before it's dropped by another unit. But as I say, that's a massive drop of probably getting on for 40%, from 24 units in the morning and 24 units at night, down to 15 units in the day and 15 units at night. Sorry, I just had my brunch and crispy bacon in my teeth. Oh, I've gone out of focus. Whoa, hello, come back. Sorry about this, people. For some reason, I don't know if it's the light or whatever, but the camera doesn't want to seem to behave today. Oh, and it's going again. Anyway, and And then moving on to the Lantos, the slow release insulin. This is even bigger, in my opinion. I was taking 14 units at night when I took my nighttime Humulin. I would take 14 units of Lantos, and I've reduced that now down to 6. So that's over 50%, obviously, easy maths. And it is my aim to try and totally eradicate the need for me to have that slow release insulin. I only started taking it probably the start of this year. So it's not like I've been on it for years, and I want to eradicate it completely, and within my 13-week plan that will happen, as long as obviously my blood sugars don't spike. You know, I am monitoring my blood sugars really closely. I probably take them 3-4 times a day. It might sound a little bit excessive, but whilst I'm on the keto, I want to really be aware of where I am, especially at night, in case I'm having or heading towards a hypo. And I think this will help me from not having a hypo. Being able to reduce my medication, you know, will really help with that. But the warning bit is, be aware of hypos. If you've gone on a low carb diet, your blood sugars are going to come down anyway. Everything I do is geared around lowering my blood sugars. My diet is a low carb keto diet. I have 11 supplements a day, and I did a lot of research, and some people might think it's all, you know, hot hair. It might be a placebo effect for all I know, but all I know is since I've started taking my supplements, as I say, I take 15 tablets. I think that's 11 or maybe 12 supplements. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I did a lot of research, and it's all about managing blood glucose. There's all of the stuff I take, not all of it is purely about glucose management or blood sugar management, but a lot of them have benefits for that. Some of them are mood related, because I think that's important. Energy, you know, so my diet's geared around it, my supplements are geared around it, and my training's geared around it. So your blood sugars can come down, especially if you maintain the level of medication that you're on. So just be aware of that and monitor it, so that at night, I normally hope that before I go to sleep, my blood sugars are up around the certainly late 4s, early 5s or better. I don't really want to, you know, see 3.8 or 3.5 like I do some nights. That's when I, as I say, get the dextrose tablets out and go down that route. So another big bonus, along with my improved blood sugars, is the reduction in my medication. I've already managed to reduce my Humulin by 40%. I've already reduced my Lantos by probably near a 60%, and you know, that has got a planned route to decrease even further. One thing that I also decreased this week was one of my tablet form medication, which was metformin. Now let me again just quickly explain. I take pretty much the full dose, as my doctors told me. He's pretty much said there's no increase, or when I was struggling to manage my blood sugars, there was no increase medication wise. So before my, I'm kind of like a 2 meal a person day. Sometimes I'll sneak a 3rd meal in the middle, but more often than not I have a brunchy time meal and then dinner at night. So I have 160 milligrams of glycoside before my meal, and then I have 1,000 milligrams of metformin after my meal. What I decided to do again was to try and bring down the tablet form medication as well as the insulin. And what I want to do is eventually get to a stage where I'm taking half. So I want to get my glycoside down to 80 and my metformin down to 500. And I'm going to do that by taking away 1 tablet a week for the next 4 weeks. So this week I decided the first tablet to lose was one of the metformins after my evening meal. And the reason I did that is because I take the slow release insulin at night. I thought that was probably the better one to lose first. So now I take 160 milligrams before my brunch time meal and 1,000 milligrams of metformin after my brunch time meal. And then at night, I still take 160 milligrams of glycoside before my dinner, but I only take 500 milligrams of metformin after my dinner. Now, I have noticed no difference, no spike in blood sugars. I'm still getting the super cool results. In fact, a little bit low. So, super happy about that. Next week, I take away 500 milligrams of metformin from my brunch time meal. And then the idea is the following week, I'll lose 80 milligrams of glycoside from my dinner time meal, and the week after that 80 milligrams from my brunch time meal, which means in those 4 weeks I would have basically halved the tablet form medication I take for my diabetes. I would have took my daily consumption of metformin from 2,000 milligrams down to 1,000 milligrams, and my glycoside intake, quick mathematics, from 320 down to 160. I don't intend to take any more off, certainly not for the foreseeable future, certainly not until my my test, my HbC1 test, I hope I'm saying that right, on the 30th of September. Basically following that blood test, I'll have to then see my diabetic doctor. Hopefully I'll have the result that I want of 6.5 or better, and at that stage I'll break the news to him that not only did I take a little bit of my medication off, and show him actually where I am with that. Obviously it'll be interesting to see if anything gets flagged from the blood test. Hopefully kidney function will be fine. I'm certainly feeling good, you know. There are still times when I'm a bit tired, a little bit lethargic. I don't think I've got keto flu that everyone keeps going on about. Sometimes I can sleep for 12 hours, but that's probably because I've got a super comfy bed and I'm kind of lazy at heart. I'm trying to break that. I'm trying to get into the habit of getting up earlier and, you know, exercising more. I've just joined a gym. So, you know, that's something that I'm going to have the use of, and I don't want to waste £40 a month that it's costing me. So, you know, that would be good to get to the gym and work out. And even if we're just chilling in the sauna on the odd occasion, you know, I think that will help. So anyway, yeah, I can see we're ticking around to my usual 30-minute video. They're only still 2 wickets down. Kind of hope they're going to have a bit of a batting collapse, but hey ho. So yeah, that's kind of a recap of where we are. As I say, the blood sugars are amazing. Everything else is ticking along. I'm really happy at where I am. It's not like I'm depressed or moody. I know one of the things I've said before as well was the fact that in the past I'd had to weigh up the benefits of quality of life over enjoyment of life, and I'd kind of always gone for enjoyment of life and, you know, run the risk of what the potential you know, things that can happen through diabetes are. I've got to say that being on the keto diet is kind of like a combination of the two. You don't feel like you're on a diet. You can eat a lot of food that doesn't make it feel like a diet. So yeah, I'm addressing the quality of life issue, but I'm enjoying myself. So there is still an element of enjoyment. Yeah, I get the odd craving. I'd love a chip butty, you know, really carb up, get some bread, get some chips. But there's still plenty of lovely food I can eat. I post most of it on my Instagram. For anyone who sees this video and doesn't know my Instagram, it's at the Studio MK. So at the Studio MK, Mike Kilo at the end, which is obviously an abbreviation of Milton Keynes, which is where I'm from, Milton Keynes in England, about 50 miles north of London, for anyone who only knows London. So yeah, everything's going along. I am going to do more of these videos. I do enjoy them. I love the sound of my own voice. But yeah, anyone's got any questions, feel free to fire them across, post in the comments below. I love doing that now. I did it the last time. Oh, below, down there somewhere. Post in the comments and I will try and reply. Feel free to share the video, like the video, follow me, blah blah blah, subscribe, I think it is on YouTube. And yeah, as I say, I'm more than happy to have a chat until I become famous and an influencer, and then I'll ignore everyone. Anyway, much love from Team Still Fat. Put it that way, Team Still Fat.